meditation service. It's 10 a.m. on the Pacific Coast, which means we are live. This is our meditation service. It's a stillness meditation, which means I'm going to invite you to find a comfortable place to sit down. Our regular service with our music and our message, our affirmations and prayers is coming up at 10:30, so just about 28 minutes from now. We'll be getting ready for that, but for the meantime, we're going to go into our meditation practice, which will include a prayer. So I'll invite you to find a place to get comfortable, to get seated. If you're laying down in bed, you might want to prop yourself up, whatever feels good and comfortable for your body. And I will center us, then we will stay in the stillness, and then we will come out in a wave of prayer. And meditation is always communion with God, communion with Spirit, communion with your soul. Whether it's mantra, which is communing with the vibrational quality of the divine, whether it is movement, aligning that energy into your bones and muscles and tissues, whether it is inquiry or activation, that is asking a question or activating a frequency, all of them contain subtle nuances of intention associated with the particular meditation. And all of them contain communion with Spirit. Our stillness meditation is where we exercise the muscle of not thinking, of no words. But in the beginning, that's how we still the mind and open to the divine. So if you need to close a door, if you need to dim the lights, if you need to draw the blinds, go ahead and do so as we get prepared to begin. And we are now ready. As always, we begin by first giving ourselves permission to relax. Just saying to ourselves and our minds, I give myself permission to relax. As we invite, as we evoke, and as we allow the divine presence of peace and love, wellness and goodness, beauty and grace to wash over us and to rise up from within us. Knowing we have no place to go, and that our intention is to commune with the infinite brilliance, the infinite peace, the infinite serenity and spaciousness, the clarity of our soul, of God. And so join me as we bring our awareness to our soul star. Your soul star is your 8th chakra, a brilliant and soft yet bright starburst of energy located at the north pole of your energy field. However you sense or feel or become aware, it is the energy of the soul. So we take a moment and we allow ourselves to become aware of the infinite eternal light of your divine essence. We take a moment and we begin to notice the divine life force energy that we sometimes refer to as prana or chi. If you could see it with your mind's eye or feel it, you you would sense it pouring down through the top of your energy field, like a cascading waterfall of golden white light. That energy not only pouring through you, but over and around you. Imagine that energy beginning to proliferate peace throughout your entire physical body as it makes its way down, tingling onto the scalp. You can feel your crown open as the energy washes over and through your body. Returning home, you can feel a contagion of peace tingling down as all the cells of the body begin to illuminate. The light, as luminosity and weightlessness begins to flow through and awaken your mind's eye in the middle of your forehead. Without efforting, without trying, just allowing your mind's eye to open. Our divine sensorium, allowing the outer eyes to merge with the inner eye, allowing our imagination to attune to inspiration. You can feel that energy as you bring your awareness tingling around your left ear, around the right ear. And as all out fade, the outer ears begin to merge with the inner ear. And we feel that energy opening and awakening, attuning to the still small voice, as that contagion of peace continues to flow down into the neck and throat, opening the throat center, softening the shoulders, tingling down from your biceps into your forearms, flowing and spiraling down into your chest, where we allow the heart to feel the light, the peace, and the love of the soul. We open our hearts and feel a melting of any resistance and an awakening to the inner light as the energy makes its way down the spine, softening, strengthening, and rejuvenating. As the solar plexus opens, as your belly floods with light, the root at the base of the spine opens. And as the hips flood with light, we feel the energy tingling down through the thighs and hamstrings, through the calves and shins, through the ankles and heels, and into the toes. Your entire physical, emotional, and mental bodies surrendering into the tranquility of the soul. And so I invite you to bring your awareness back to your heart. And then to your crown. And allow the love and the joy to bring a smile to the face. And it is here that we allow ourselves to be fully illuminated, letting go of all thoughts, letting go of all figuring analyzing, and being overwhelmed by peace and love and serenity, rejuvenation, relaxation. It is here that we rest in the stillness. Should your mind wander, just bringing it back to your heart and feeling the love and the joy and the peace of your soul. come back into a lucid state of divine awareness, I invite you to bring your awareness to the South Pole, to the bottom of your energy field, to your Earth Star, your 10th chakra. This is where we ground heaven on earth, peace, wellness, goodness, prosperity, desire on earth fulfilled. We bring it down to our Earth Star. That energy that is pouring down over and through your soul star at the North Pole of your energy field swirls, whirls, and spirals it down through you and over you, making its way to your Earth Star, which is located about a meter, maybe 5 or 6 feet beneath the bottoms of your feet. If you were standing. And so we take a moment and we allow ourselves to continue in this field of ever-expanding good, knowing that the entirety of the human evolutionary journey is to raise the vibration, returning home in the brilliance of your eternal self. How grateful I am to know that just by stopping and being still, that we are allowing ourselves to rejuvenate, reacclimate to the eternal light, the inner spark of ever-expanding good, to know what it truly means to feel and see and hear and know the presence of God that is everywhere, as bliss, as a joy, as a goodness, as greatness. There is a great energy that is profound, that is everywhere in the furthest reaches, amongst the farthest stars, in the furthest galaxies. Brilliance and greatness is. And there is a greatness within every gene, cell, morsel, muscle, tissue of your body, your emotions, the mind, and our body of affairs. And how grateful I am to know that every time we commune with Spirit, we enhance, we grow, we expand this as anchoring heaven on earth through us. We know that heaven, that God, is omnipresent, everywhere. It is solely the consciousness that we are remembering the truth of our divine nature. And to the degree that we remember at 100% is to the degree that we spontaneously experience the fullness and the allness of the glory of God. And so we say yes to this 100% realization, recognition, revelation of our true nature. As we commune and connect with this, we know that anything that comes into form follows the law of creation. That divine idea of perfection makes its way down as you personalize it in your own life through your soul star, your crown at the top of your head, your third eye, your throat center, your heart, your solar plexus, your sacrum, your root, and all the way down to your Earth Star. So I invite you to join me right now as we anchor the glory of the kingdom of heaven, which is wellness. Feel wellness traveling down from your crown, washing through your cheeks and neck and shoulders, in all the muscles, bones, tissues, cells. Feel it in your rib cage, your organs. Feel it making its way down into your lower belly. Peace, be still and realize itself in your hips, in your thighs, in the muscles, bones, tissues of your kneecaps, the cartilage of your shins and calves and toes. And imagining big, brilliant beams of light shining down from the bottoms of your feet to your Earth Star, where we ground this peace. We ground prosperity. we ground wellness. If there's any particular place in your body temple that requires a little extra boost of rejuvenating, regenerative, restorative wellness, bring your attention to it and feel, invite, evoke, and allow that wellness to revitalize and rejuvenate from the inside out, from the outside in. And once you feel it in the tendons and tissues, muscles and bones, organs, genes and cells, send that energy down through your legs and feet to your Earth Star. This is how we ground it. This is how we make it real in our experience. So I'm grateful to ground all of this goodness, knowing it is God's good pleasure to bring forward the kingdom of heaven to, through, and as your life, my life, our life, individually and collectively. Grateful to know that we have come together in this collective consciousness, in this meditative state, which is truly the alertness of God. Meditation is the alertness of a God. It is cognizant of everything good simultaneously. It is the most brilliant intelligence, the mystery and the mastery of life. We ground all of this in deep and abiding appreciation, and we simply and gratefully allow it all to be even more, for it is alive, it is effulgent, it continues to grow and glow as we allow it to be so, and we allow it to be so by saying, "And so I let it be, and so it is. Amen." And as you open your eyes whenever you feel ready, it's always good after meditation to let it live itself, expand itself, marinate itself, integrate itself through your entire beingness. A lot of times people say, "Oh, I feel so light afterwards," and that's because your body has let go of density and you're opening to the lightness of your being, and we want that to recalibrate us and keep us and then go to the next level of luminosity. So I'm grateful for all of you participating in our meditation service. We're getting ready for the music and message, which will just take you even deeper and higher from this meditative. Also get to claim what we've just anchored. So I'm grateful for this. Where one rises, all rise. That's what we say yes to. So we're going to go ahead, do a couple little changes here, get the set ready, so to speak. And we will be back in just a couple minutes. Good morning, Soul Center. I'm Reverend Keith, playing the role of Patricia Griffith this morning, and I know I won't do as much justice as our beloved Patricia, but she's taken the day to rejuvenate, to regenerate, to relax today, and so I'm filling in for her. And this is a part of our service where I'm going to make the announcements, what's going on in our community. Our community's got a lot going on. Of course, we have to give thanks for all of our team leads, for our founders, Jessica and Patricia, who have just been brilliantly behind the scenes doing so much work. You might not know what goes on behind the scenes, but there's things that we're doing almost 7 days a week. You our service at our classes, etc. So my my gratitude and appreciation goes to my beloved Patricia and Jessica and all of our team leads and all of our chaplains. This is part of our community, and I love you all, and I'm grateful for that. That gratitude comes from a place that can be stimulated and activated in our soul circles. What is a soul circle? If you're just tuning in for the first time, and the wonderful blessing that has come out of COVID is that we're seeing people from around the country and around the globe that are able to participate in our classes, in our services, and even if you want to, in our soul circles. A soul circle is a limited group of people. So we have a limited number of people that come in, and there's prayer and reading and communion and fellowship at the divine. Online, usually, sometimes it's via conference calls. The group figures that out on themselves, but there's a unifying thread that unites them all, and they meet, whether it is weekly or minimally monthly, to commune and fellowship and have high conscious support for each other. High conversation, that's what a soul circle is. And once a soul circle reaches its capacity, because we always like them to have enough time for them to stay intimate, for people to get to know each other and have time to share, then we'll open another soul circle, and then it will grow to its capacity. So if that sounds of interest to you, please check us out. Email info@soulcenteroc.com. So our website is soulcenteroc.com, and info@soulcenteroc.com is where you can send any inquiries, especially if it involves wanting to participate in a soul circle. We've set them up so that they're at a variety of different times, some evenings, weekends, whatever it is, there's one that can fit your time frame. We have a couple things that I want you to be aware of that is going to come up in our newsletter. Sometimes people say, oh, I didn't know about that because they didn't see it in the newsletter because they're not getting the newsletter. So go to soulcenteroc.com, sign up for our newsletter. Our newsletter goes out pretty much about once a week. So that shouldn't be too much for anybody to handle. And it gives you everything that's going on, including this week's newsletter, because we don't have the details ready just today, not fit to print yet, but we are going to have a State of the Center, which is kind of like the State of the Union, but it's a State of the Center, where we're going to discuss what's going on with Soul Center as we prepare to come back and meet in person. We, of course, are going to continue to stream live on all the platforms that we currently use, but we're going to be coming back into person pretty soon. And what we're doing right now is we're starting a fundraiser to come back in person. One of the phenomena that happened during our time through this past year is that our tithing and donation came down a little bit, which was fine for everything that we have to pay for behind the scenes right now, all of our technology, all of everything that goes on behind the scenes, but it is a little falling of what we would need to secure a place to have our Sunday services. So we're going to ask you right now to just be conscious, either hold it in your consciousness, or if you feel called to, that we have more than enough to secure where we need to be. So we'd really like to see a nice jump in our tithing. That's what we're holding in our consciousness and in our prayer, so that we can effortlessly move into a place as soon as that's ready, which is coming up soon. So we're going to I'm putting a plug in for tithing right now, as well as holding that in your consciousness. So the State of the Center, we will announce the time that's going to be as well as our next class, which is going to be prayer and the mystical nature and foundation of the New Thought movement. So we're going to be moving through. The class will cover all of the forefathers and mothers of the New Thought movement, and it will introduce people to prayer or reinforce your current affirmative prayer practice. It's going to be an action-packed, brilliant, beautiful class, and it will be starting in May. We will give you the details of that. This Thursday is when our newsletter goes out, so keep your eyes peeled for that. It is one of the required classes for the prayer chaplaincy program, and it is also one of the required classes just for you to grow. I'm making a little light of that. It's just one we invite you to all participate in any of our classes, whether you're seeking the prayer chaplaincy program or not, because they will all lift you into a greater you. We also, of course, have our weekly A Course in Miracles, which is every Tuesday via Zoom. You can find out all the information. That particular gathering, which is 90% of the time hosted by our beloved Keely Beckwith, an angel on earth. He will host that meeting, and it is something that you don't have to do in chronological order. You can come in and out of that gathering any week on Tuesdays. Of course, I'm hosting our daily affirmative prayer time, Monday through Saturday, 9:30. All of our times are Pacific time, 9:30 a.m. Our daily affirmative prayer. And of course, I think that is it. Yes, that is it for our announcements. And now, I'm going to invite our beloved and brilliant, amazing angel, Andrea LeClaire, who I love and adore. I hope you know that I love and adore you, Andrea. She's going to come up and she is going to do our reading, our prayer, and our affirmations. So we're going to give her a big, warm welcome. Come on up, Andrea.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrea LeClaire. Our reading this morning is from Eric Butterworth's book, Life is for Living, and this passage is found starting on page 8. The principle of love is dynamic. Certainly love can change the world and it can change you, but it can only do so if you take the principle into the laboratory and roll up your sleeves. You learn to speak by speaking, you learn to walk by walking, you learn to work by working, and you learn to love by loving. There is no other way. Study love. Meditate on the love idea and the whole process of loving. Make contact with every person that you pass, but in a loving way. Look beyond the appearances to see the consciousness of love, which will enable you to behold and see the lovable within even the most sordid character. This is an excellent way to sharpen your consciousness of love as the greatest power in your life. It will also be an effective means of letting a world of peace and order begin with you. It will be the best possible technique for creating an umbrella of the protection and love of God. No harm could ever befall you if you were totally in the consciousness of love. And your consciousness of love is never complete, no matter how many love affirmations you may be rehearsing, unless you are constantly and always in the attitude and action of loving. Let us pray. Oh, so grateful this morning for this beautiful, beautiful morning here with our Soul Center family. So grateful to remember that love is. Love simply, simply is. Loving this beautiful divine energy, this grace, this power, this divinity that has always been before the beginning of time, before the concept of time. That this power, this grace, this presence is always active, always loving, and absolutely, absolutely in everything, from the smallest to the greatest. Knowing that it's in everything, it's in me, it's in all of us here, it's in Reverend Keith, it's in absolutely everyone at Soul Center and all of our affiliates. That we are blessed and blessed with this gorgeous energy of divinity and grace and love. And especially remembering for today that this service is blessed, this service is blessed. That Reverend Keith has everything he needs. He's divinely prepared in the mind of God and in his own mind. He's perfectly, perfectly at peace and love and harmony, and that Soul Center has everything it needs for its day today, for its days in the future, for its expansion into its back to, and for all the wonderful things that we have in store. Knowing that it is so. Love is here. Love is always here. And I rest in that knowing. And so it is. Now let us do our agape affirmations as a call and response. I'll speak a line, and then we'll all repeat it back together. I am an emanation of God bringing heaven to earth.
I am an emanation of God bringing heaven to earth.
An ever-increasing awareness of gratitude opens my eyes and multiplies my good.
An ever-increasing awareness of gratitude opens my eyes and multiplies my good.
I walk in the no-complaint zone of God consciousness.
I walk in the no-complaint zone of God consciousness.
Love is the common thread weaving my life together.
Love is the common thread weaving my life together.
The high vibration of perfect wholeness renews my body temple.
The high vibration of perfect wholeness renews my body temple.
This is the real me.
This is the real me.
And so I let it be. Amen.
So I let it be. Amen.
Oh, thank you for that brilliant reading, that brilliant prayer, and our affirmations. We're getting ready to bring in our music to kickstart and get your adrenaline going softly and gently. Cal Marshall is our new brilliant musical inspiration, of course, along with Brian and Jesse. I'm going to welcome them up and let them open your hearts even more. Good morning.
I had a dream. Things would be better. I had a dream. We all could live. I had a dream. We'd be free with blood-stained tears. Where's humanity? Oh, yeah. We can't march, we can't kill our kids, either there or jail. We need change, pray for a change. America, we can change. I had the dream. Things will be better. I had a dream. We all could live. I have a dream, yeah. We'd be free with blood-stained tears. Where's humanity? Oh, yeah. We can't march, we can't yell, kill our kids, here or jail. We need change, pray for a change. America, we change. I am the dream. Things are better. I have a dream. We all will live. I have a dream. We'll be free, yeah, with blood-stained tears. Where's humanity? Oh, yeah. We can't march, we can't yell, kill our kids. We need change, pray for a change. America, we can change. Yeah, yeah. We are the dream. Things will be better. We are the dream, and we all will live. We are the dream, yeah. We'll be free with blood-stained tears. Where's humanity? Yeah, with blood-stained tears. Where's humanity? Oh, blood-stained tears. Oh, where's humanity?
Oh, how brilliant was that? Cal, thank you so much. This is his maiden voyage with us, and we are grateful to be blessed by that angelic voice. We're grateful for Brian and Jesse, of course, as always. They are brilliant. You've heard me say it before, but I watch them because I'm a spiritual voyeur, and I love watching goodness. I love watching when people are getting into the zone and doing their thing, and it's just pretty fantastic. We have a fantastic music group always. Our music ministry is top notch. Good morning, Soul Center. I'm Reverend Keith, and I'm welcoming you to our Soul Centered Sunday service. We are an Agape affiliate. What does that mean? The Agape International Spiritual Center. Agape meaning in Greek unconditional love, which is the expression of God, because there are no conditions in the divine, and we espouse the truth teachings that are all inclusive, including all of our brothers and sisters and sentient beings. We even include the inanimate objects of the world, because God is everywhere as an omnipresence. And the Agape International Spiritual Center, of which we are one with, is that which espouses the truth teachings found in the mystical, in the magnificence of all religions. Should you choose to go up and move and groove yourself into that field of ever-expanding good, you'll find it, because it's inevitable. Everybody on this planet is not already steeped with it within their bones, cells, and tissues, because it is hardwired, coded, loaded in your bones and cells, organs, and tissues, but it is inevitable that you'll have it as an experience. And that's part of our community. Our community is where we can talk about some of the ways and ideas of God, of heaven, of joy, of bliss. These are eternal frequencies. And then we want to bring it in and have that be an expression and an experience of our life. When you incarnated, you got this little handbook that showed you all the ins and outs of being human, but some of us have lost of it, some of us have forgotten it. And one of the key things is that you have free will and free choice. And you get to come down into this brilliant amusement park, and you get to play on the playground of life. But sometimes we forget, and we choose things that take us out of our greatness, and they take us into the separate or the separation experience. And the separation experience means that we've forgotten about the divine. We've forgotten about we've become mired in lack and limitation. We may have even tarried with hatred or dislike. All of this is part of the illusion of life, of the temporal world. But eventually, no matter what, it is foolproof. The universe has built it into your cosmology to bring you back to wholeness. Whether you do it through fun and through joy and through bliss, which is what I definitely recommend, or some people do it through pain and suffering and struggle and strife, which is what I don't recommend, because one is more fun than the other. So we are allowing ourselves to tap into our greatness. And as we continue the theme of the month, which is rising and shining, shining is greatness. There's a greatness within you that you are to reveal. You're not going to believe this, but once in a while, there's a person, their greatness. Sometimes they shine things out into the world because your light shines through the filters of your energy body, and if it's shining through the filters of trauma and pain, then you end up having experiences that are not so good. Our job is to clean that, to grasp, to hold on to our greatness, to find our greatness, to transmute the filters that would inhibit it from shining itself. So if you can imagine a bulb that is just fully illuminated and then there's a lampshade over it, And the more dense that lampshade is, the less the brightness and the greatness shines out. So we're here to shine our greatness in every way. The full spectrum of greatness is what we are to shine in our lives. And so as the topic of today, the power of great kindness, love, and joy. And I'm going to focus a little bit on kindness. Kindness is one of those things that is synonymous with goodness. But kindness is so pure. It's an access to the purity of your soul. Kindness has no ulterior motive. Kindness says, yes, I would like to feed you or house you or clothe you or love you unconditionally. Kindness, and to do a great kindness, means you tap into the greatness of your own beingness and you allow yourself to be kind. To be kind to everything and everyone, no exceptions all the time. Now, that might sound a little wacky because, I don't know if you've ever been out, and maybe you're just in your daily routine, you're at the supermarket, maybe you've gone to the dry cleaners, maybe you've been in traffic. That's where we can really express some kindness. And sometimes we forget about kindness, and sometimes we forget about greatness, but there's a greatness that will feel uncomfortable in your beingness if you don't let it out as kindness. And so the way that we move through life, the way we navigate to allow our greatness as kindness, because kindness is the expression, that is how God expresses itself everywhere, all the time. Great kindness, great prosperity, great wellness, great spaciousness, freedom, great joy, great clarity. It is undifferentiated by anything else. It is wholly and fully brilliant. And so we want to start with the intention. Yes, I'd like to allow that to shine. My greatness as kindness to shine through me. And so as we do that, we become aware that, as it states in A Course in Miracles, questioning is the first step in unmaking them and undoing them. Questioning the illusions is the first step into stepping into our greatness and into our kindness. And so I have a formula that we assess, we address, and we bless. To assess means we become aware of the illusions that are going on around us. So, if I'm experiencing poverty, I want to assess community. We certainly make sure that we are communing with Spirit. We say, okay, God, you and me as one. We are going to assess this. This eliminates the propensity to judge or to go down the rabbit hole of condemnation. God and one is a majority, so we say yes to being a majority that we may assess. You become aware of the illusion of what's going on, whether it's lack or limitation or illness or poverty or discord or disrespect or disharmony. If any of those rings the bell, if you have a little pain, maybe just a little something in your knee or in your finger, that is out of integrity, out of alignment with homeostatic brilliance. So we assess it and then we address it. To address it means now I'm going to become intentional about what I'm going to do. I'm becoming affirmatively intentional about what I'm going to do, and then we're going to bless it. We want to bless it into divine oblivion. We want to say that we're allowing divine oblivion to have its way through us and anchor it every day. So years ago, I had a client, and just so you know, when I reference clients, I do change genders and I change a couple of the details. So if you think I'm talking about you, I might be talking about you, but I'm probably talking about somebody else because I changed that to protect the innocence of their identity and our confidentiality. So there was this client who may or may not have been a male or a female, and they came to me. I'm going to refer to her as a she. She came to me because she was experiencing some discord in her life that was showing up as a diagnosis that she was going into, I can't remember what it's the second diabetes 2. I can't remember what it's called exactly. But it was kind of the early onset of that in her life. And she did not want to experience diabetes. She did not want to experience having to take insulin, etc. And she had tried various other things to correct things. And so when she came in, the intention was, I don't want this. I have to deal with this. So we assess. And we start to assess by saying, okay, here's what's going on. Now what are we going to do? And then we address what's going on. So as we address, one of the things you want to do is, so diabetes is associated with the pancreas. And the pancreas is what allows the insulin to bring balance in this when we eat our food and how it deals with the carbohydrates and the sugars and all of that so that we can be in homeostatic brilliance. So we have as we're assessing, we start to become aware of what the pancreas actually means. And so I asked her to be with the pancreas and to allow it. Now we could say the pancreas, we could say the diagnosis, whatever it is, as we assess and address, but we don't make it bad or wrong, and we try with all of our heart and soul not to jump to worst case scenarios. And so as she sat with it, all of a sudden, something that seemed a little incongruent, that seemed like, what is this all about? But we started to see where it took her to a place, her pancreas was showing her her workplace. And in her workplace, she was in a new workplace, there was this feeling of kind of isolation and powerlessness where she wasn't getting along with people. She was even considering quitting her job because she wasn't getting the reverence and the respect and the kindness. It had gone from mediocre to less than mediocre, where it was becoming more uncomfortable. And then we looked back and we found out that in a previous job, it was the same situation. There was, in your job, you're surrounded by colleagues and coworkers and divine emanations of God, actually, because every one of us is, but they seemed like they were the opposite. And so she started to know it. We started to see there was a pattern. And then as we pulled back even further, we saw that pattern spill out into the family a little bit. It all fell under the umbrella of normal. Oh, well, there's all these family dynamics. And of course, you're going to have a little rift here and a little rift there and a disagreement there and agree to disagree. And don't discuss politics and don't discuss religion and blah, 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 blah. Do you think God is sitting there saying, oh no, can't discuss that because I'm going to get my panties in a wad? That doesn't happen. The universe doesn't get its panties in a wad, and nor does your soul, and nor will you, should you choose to assess, address, and then bless what is going on. But sometimes we got to go beyond the superficial. The superficial was her body had called to her via the pancreas, via the condition. And that is when we went in and which took a little bit of time. And then, of course, the addressing is setting the direct and brilliant and affirmative intention. What's the real intention? Her initial intention was, get rid of this, heal it. I don't want to go through this. That's not what you're after. You're after the consciousness that will awaken you to the truth that will set you free from the limitation of the condition. And so then we get to the real intention, which is getting into sacred, holy relationships with everyone. And remembering the truth of what it says in Scripture, where it says, if a man says that he loves God, but hateth his neighbor, then he's a liar. You're a liar if you say you love God, but you have judgment and you have opinions about your neighbor. Your neighbor can be anyone or anything. As a matter of fact, your neighbor, a lot of times we think of it as our neighbor who lives next door, or maybe the person who lives above me. But your neighbor is anyone, and your neighbor can sometimes be you. It can also be an inanimate object. I could be frustrated with the rocks. I could be frustrated. You know how sometimes, I'm so mad at the table. How'd that table get in my way? Well, we want to assess and address and know that we don't want to be liars. We want to speak the truth and know the truth in everything. And as you pray, dream, as you allow yourself to move into a space of grace and brilliance, which means we get still. We get still. And yeah, I will tell you, sometimes it took a bit. It took a bit at first. She was like, okay, I'm going to sit with the pancreas. I'm like, I'm not getting nothing. She said, no, I'm just, nah. But we sat there and we addressed and we persisted and we sat in the meditative stillness until the little movie and the little ideas started to surface. And sometimes you wouldn't think, a lot of people wouldn't even think, what does one have to do with the other? Well, your pancreas is in your power section. And if you feel powerless, that is one of the things that could come up. And so feeling powerless, if I'm in a workplace and people are working against me, and that could be to whatever degree. The degree could be like, oh, I just don't feel like, oh, they always go out to lunch or they go here after work and whatever, and they don't invite me. Oh, well, I didn't really want to go anyway, so I just deal with it. We don't want to deal with it. If you sat and you felt it back then, you'd find out, oh, I feel excluded, which can lead you to feeling powerless. And so we want to let go of powerlessness. We want to go of feeling excluded or left out. And we want to start to proclaim and declare in the addressing, assess, address, bless. We want to proclaim and declare in the addressing the proper intention of I choose to be included, and then we bless it. We allow ourselves to move into our spiritual practice like we did this morning in our meditation, where you bring the energies down, the eternal frequencies, the eternal energies. Do not tarry with the temporal energies. The temporal energies of worries and doubts and fears and dislike and even the big one, hate, those are not. We don't want to be a liar. We want to be the truth that sets us free. You're the truth that sets you free. Seeking to find the truth that sets you free brings wellness to your body temple, your emotional body, your mental body. And when we bless it, we're also grounding it. We want to bring it down, as we heard in our meditation, to our earth star. Your earth star is that 10th chakra. Now remembering in the law of creation, energy is always flowing in the temporal world. It's always flowing back of all energy. So if you were to imagine air or the sky, let's just take clouds as a temple. Air all the time, it's just always there, whether light's shining through it as daytime or whether the sun is being blocked by the earth and it's nighttime. The air is always there. Whether you look up into the sky and the clouds come overhead, that is a temporary condition because they will blow by and they will illuminate the darkness or the sunlight, but the air is still there. So the air of the omnipresence of God is everywhere as the truth. So we want to know that temporal energies are not what we want to get involved with. It is temporal. Illness is temporal. Poverty is temporal, meaning it is temporary, until we choose to do something about it. And that is where we come in our spiritual practice to communion with Spirit. And remember, we're a community that does not worship false idols. To worship a false idol would mean I put my power and my energy in something of the temporal. I'm going to put it in that, and it leads to managing, and it leads to manipulation. And that is why we don't tarry with false idols. We go straight to the divine. There, do not pass go, do not collect 200. Go straight to the divine and collect 20 billion and more. That's what we're saying yes to. We want to go straight up and avoid the false positives. False positives are things where this is nice, it's good, I have a wonderful relationship with so-and-so, but it can always get better. Glory to greater glory is what we espouse in our community, going to a higher level. I knew a man that I worked for, as a matter of fact, multi-millionaire, who had more money than you could possibly know what to do with, homes and cars and travels and private plane and the whole 9 yards, and still something wasn't content, because that's not prosperity. That's a temporal experiences of the riches of the world, and that will never satiate you. So if you're one of those people that thinks, if I just win the lottery, then I'll be golden, wrong. That is a lie. It is the consciousness that allows you to know that God is your source and your supply all the time. That is what you're looking for. So I'm going to invite you to join me as we become keenly aware that I always connect with my true intention. That is going to give me the satiation of my deepest desire. That's what we're saying yes to. I'm going to also invite you to join me that if anything is going on in your physical, emotional, mental body, your body of affairs, that you're going to spend at least as much time, minimally as much time as you spent worrying, and put that much time into assessing, addressing, and blessing. And of course, sometimes you're going to have to lean into someone else, because sometimes, yes, do we get a little overwhelmed from the temporal? If you're overwhelmed from the temporal, then you bring in the support chaplains. That's why we have our meditation practice. That's why we do our daily affirmative prayer call. That's why we have A Course in Miracles. That's why we have our class coming up. Because it pulls us from the temporal into the eternal so that we can up-level and upgrade everything on a regular basis. So I'm going to invite you to join me once again, that you will set, I always set the intention that sets me free to the inner soul. And the byproduct of that is wellness. The byproduct of that is prosperity. The byproduct of that is sacred, holy relationships. Now, it is okay to set the intention. I choose to have a sacred, holy relationship with so-and-so. I choose to know what true prosperity is, all needs met. I choose to know what radiant homeostatic wellness, in this case, in this woman's case, in my pancreas, that there's homeostasis throughout my body. Which, by the way, after we did her work and she went back, they said, oh, you don't have it anymore. It's gone. We think that might have been a false read. They had to double check and recheck, and she came back a little bit later just to double check. And as she assessed, addressed, and blessed the whole thing, that diabetes was re-diagnosed as not being there. So I know that sometimes it sounds like, I've had people who, oh, God, it worked for so-and-so, but is it going to work for me? Allow conviction and allow yourself to set a tone where your thoughts, your words, and your deeds are all on the same page, and to understand what you're truly after. And your body temple will tell you, if you're patient enough and still enough, what's going on. It'll even tell you things, if we went back a little bit further, we could have addressed this discord in her life before the diagnosis, which created a little bit of stress on the body temple. And that sends adrenaline, etc. We can start to just get a little bit more familiar with that. And the plus side is, and I get sometimes a condition lasts longer than we would like. That just means we're going to go deeper into our wholeness, into our magnificence. So I'm going to invite you to join me right now. I'm just going to allow you, bring your hands to your heart if you want to, or just imagine you're in your heart center. Feel a connection between your heart and soul. And our intention right now is there something that I need to assess to grow, heal, and expand in my life? And without editing, without analyzing, whatever your heart reveals to you, we're going to allow ourselves to assess from the witness. What is it? Is there a physical something that needs a little attention? Is there an emotional or mental something? Is there a situational something that I would like to assess? And then I'm going to invite you to feel an energy travel between your heart and your soul, open to the energy of your soul, and we're going to address it here. We're going to address it, and I'm going to invite you to allow yourself to become aware of what is it? What is my real intention that will set me free? What is the truth? What is the intention that I am to choose right now that will set me free from this condition, situation, or circumstance, knowing that in this we are allowing an enhancement, we are allowing the truth, we are allowing benevolent, brilliant, elegant goodness to lift us, for we only heal in benevolent and glorious ways. So allow yourself to feel into What is it that I am going to address? What is the intention I am setting? And then I'm going to invite you to join me as we move into the prayer field. We're going to move into the prayer field, and knowing that once we open into the address and to the bless, once we assess, address, and bless, we've already opened into the heart, the mind, the light, and the love of the soul of God. And so only good comes from this. We take a moment and we remember the truth that there is a brilliance, a grace, a beauty, a light, and a love, and intelligence. We know that God is love as intelligence. It is a loving intelligence that governs the youth. The world. It governs the youth, and it governs the cosmos and the world. It governs every dimension of every incarnation, and we say yes to remembering the truth. We allow ourselves to move from soulful consciousness to holy divine consciousness and the great remembering of great kindness, the great kindness back of all life, being kind to ourselves, being kind to others. It is effortless for the universe to be kind. It is effortless for the universe to say yes to your greatness. We choose to rise into that greatness even more than ever before. We take a moment in anything that we have assessed, that which we are addressing. We bring into the blessing of remembering the truth that right where you are, the entirety of the kingdom of heaven is. Brilliance is, wellness is, truth is, and whatever truth it is that will set us free of what we've assessed and addressed, we say yes to the revelation of that. We take a moment, we invite, evoke, and allow brilliance as homeostasis, wellness in our body temples, showering any area of your body that requires radiant wellness, showering every part of your emotional body with compassion and love, and the ability to express great kindness and to receive great kindness in your bones and your cells and your tissues, allowing your mental body to be overflowing, overwhelmed with clarity, the clarity of divine right intention, the clarity of divine right knowing, the clarity of receiving your good and understanding the truth that sets you free. We open to that into our body, sacred, holy, brilliant relationships with everything and everyone. And so I'm grateful to know that each of us, the very same presence and power that governs the universe, that is right now, beating all of our hearts, all of the 7 billion plus people on the planet, their hearts are being beaten by this loving presence. All of the billions of other creatures, the butterflies that are floating, the hummingbirds that are buzzing, the bees that are pollinating, all of their lungs and hearts are being effortlessly pumped by the divine. The flowers that are blooming effortlessly germinate up. They push through the soil with not one grain of effort. They shine their beauty and their fragrance upon the world, and we get to rejoice in our own beauty. There is a greatness within you, within me, within us, within society, and we choose to tap into that and live from greatness. Let your greatness shine. And so we allow the law of transmutation to heal, and we allow the law of creation to reveal that which allows your greatness to effortlessly shine, given and received, received and given. We choose this today even more than ever before. We choose to participate in that which effulgently brings more good into our lives, that we say yes to habits that bring about more goodness. We say yes to thoughts that bring about more goodness. We say yes to practices that bring about more goodness, true goodness, holy goodness, that is bliss, for the frequency of play, of pray, of bliss, of joy, and we return home to that. We bring our awareness once again to our Earth star, feeling the energy as it spirals down. Creation, bliss, eternal frequencies spiraling down, filling and thrilling your bones, cells, muscles, tissues, the entirety of your energy body. And then we ground it to our Earth star. We come back into a lucid state of divine awareness and deep and abiding gratitude, knowing that it is God's good pleasure to bring forward the kingdom of heaven to, through, and as you as me as we, and we choose to see the greatness of humanity. The greatness of humanity sees no poverty, it sees no war, it sees no racism, it sees no genderism, it sees no classism, it sees no hunger, it sees all needs met, harmony, reverence, respect for everything. So we bless that to the world. We've assessed, we've blessed, we've addressed, and we're blessing the world. And we come back grounding it through and as our beingness. We claim it so, we ground it so, we allow it to be so, and we do so by signing on the spiritual dotted line saying, and so I let it be. Right now, retroactively, proactively, and so it is. Amen. 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 Ashe. Aho. Mahalo. Shalom. Hotep. And hallelujah. And as we allow ourselves to bathe in the blessing, we're going to go ahead and just marinate in that for a moment. And we're going to move into our conscious time of tithing, where you can text your tithe to area code 669-342-2157. All of this is safe and secure. You can go to soulcenteroc.com and you can click on the donate button. You could also grab our physical address from the website and you could mail in a check. Just as a reminder, we're trying to build our coffers. We need a big infusion. If you know anybody who needs a tax write-off, needs a big infusion, because we're getting ready to come back into person, and we are just intending that we have more than enough to cover everything that we need for when we come back into person, which is coming up soon. We'll keep you posted. It'll be in the newsletter. So again, you can tithe by soulcenteroc.com, clicking on the donate button, texting, it's on the screen there, or sending a check-in. We deeply appreciate all of this and know that as we enter it into circulation, it follows the spiral of expansion. That's what we're saying yes to. And while you are doing this safely and securely, abundantly and brilliantly, we're going to go ahead and bring Cal back to bless us even more with Brian and Jesse. Oh, and I forgot one more thing. One more announcement. This Friday, we're having our second edition of Spiritual Life Hacks. It's going to be via Zoom, and you can send in questions. Reverend Coco Stewart from Agape and myself, along with Jessica Suselik, who's going to moderate it. And it's going to be that kind of lightning round where we take questions, we answer them quickly, and allow you to really see, like, what is it? And following today's message with Assess, Address, Bless, this would be the perfect opportunity for you to join us this email. It is on our website, and I believe it starts at 6 p.m., but you can double check that online, so I forgot to mention that. Now, to our regular scheduled programming.
Hi everybody, my name is Cal Marshall. I'm so grateful to be able to come and sing and minister with you guys this Sunday. I am just so glad to be here and so glad to share with you guys. If you guys are interested in the first song that was sung, it's Unchained. It was a song written by me and produced by me, and it is available everywhere. And the song I am singing next is called It's All God, and it is another song that's forthcoming, so be sure to check it out if you are interested. yeah, thinking on the way my life could be. So far, I'm further than I should be. But your grace kept away. Thank you is all I can say. God needs no help. You are God all by yourself. You know, thank God doesn't need any help. Oh God, come on, say it's all God. Let me hear you. It's all God. Oh yeah, it's all God. Yeah, yeah. There is purpose in your story. Oh, for me when I think it is present. Yeah, it's all God. Everything that we go through. Yeah, it's all God. It's all God. God needs no help. God by himself. Oh, God needs no help. It's all God. Yeah. God needs no help. He just got all by Godself. Oh, God needs no help. It's all God. It's
Oh, wow. Oh, Cal, thank you so much. That was beautiful and so very true. That's what we've been saying. That's what we say every week, every day. It's all God. It's all good. So, Soul Center, before we get ready to sing out, we're going to bless our time. And just one more time, in the announcement department, this Friday, the 30th of April, we are going to have our spiritual life hacks. I was told that there might have been a glitch on the feed when I announced it earlier, so I'm saying it again. And Reverend Coco Stewart, Jessica Suslik, and myself are going to be participating. And anybody, if you have a friend you want to have come join you, we're going to take questions. You can send questions in advance if you want to info@soulcenteroc.com. If you want to email a question personal to your life, or you can wait till the day and you can put it in the chat when we're there. So whatever works for you. Grateful for all of you, Soul Center. We're going to go ahead and do what we do. We're going to bless our tithe and our offering. Remember, we're getting ready to come back. You know, we're going to have the ushers. They're going to be holding the baskets. So picture them sitting right there with those baskets, and we extend our prayer through our heart and our hands. And we remember that there is an effulgent, ever-giving, ever-circulating source of all good. That which we call the universal presence, that which we call God Almighty, all good, holds nothing back. And we've said yes to expanding our bandwidth, expanding our capacity to hold more prosperity, more joy, more good, more freedom than ever before. No matter what the condition is or has ever been from the temporal, we let it go. And we move into a greater and grander experience of freedom, joy, peace, prosperity more than ever before. We see our community as fully sourced. We see our new place. We see all the programs, classes, everything necessary for technology and music. We see it all for our children's programs. We see it for our music and everything else. We let it be good. We bless this offering in deep and abiding thanksgiving individually and collectively, allowing it all to be good, allowing it all to expand benevolently and brilliantly right here, right now. And we simply agree to bless it so it is. Amen. All right, I believe we're doing our peace song. So grab, there was a question earlier. Grab it, whoever you need to grab. If there's a little one, if someone's in the bathroom, get them out. We're closing out Soul Center. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, love was all we. Let's walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my song now. To take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Guess what, Soul Center? More prayer. We're going to go even deeper, rise even higher. How grateful I am to know that we let peace and love and joy and prosperity and wellness and goodness flow to and through and as you, as me, as we, as this community in all spaces, in all places, in all nooks and in all crannies. We say yes. How grateful I am to know that it is done as we allow it to be so, and we allow it to be so brilliantly and benevolently right here, right now. I'm keeping these guys on their toes.